I found myself working as an EMT for 6 years on the ambulance. I mean, saving people's lives, pumping
Wow.
chests. I really loved it. I had a paramedic. It was usually two on an ambulance, right? So EMT and a paramedic.
Tell us the
Paramedic
difference really quick. Yeah, yeah. Tell us the
paramedic
difference.
has more education. That's it. They just have more education, maybe a little bit more experience, that kind of thing, right? But
Okay.
I mean, let's just say I was EMT for 6 years, and so this, I was more of a senior EMT,
Okay.
and so anyway, well, I'm just gonna say it, okay. Uh, you know, he was okay. I'm always good with people, right?
White male?
How, huh?
White male?
Yeah, white male, white male.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. White male, and I would say would probably put him in the category of a Trumpster. Okay? I'm sure
Okay.
he's a Trumpster. Okay? Unless he's changed his ways. And so we were just having a conversation one day, and all of a sudden he came out and he said, "Look, you will never be at my level." And I was like, "Huh? You will never be at my level. You could never be at my level. You're going to stay low, and I'm going to be here."
Did he say those exact words?
He said those exact words.
How did you guys even end up in this conversation? Like, what was that?
And it just started off as a casual, really conversation between the two of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he
Mm-hmm.
had always given me like little signs, like, I mean, if he wasn't trying to, and I grew up in the church, right? But if he wasn't trying to, steer me into his far right, evangelical type of way, right?
Yeah.
This was the type of person that he had a wife, but I think they had like 9 kids, and it
Mm-hmm.
was like his wife was forbidden to work, that kind of thing. And
Okay.
and I mean, I would hear this and I'd be like, okay, mm-hmm. I never criticized them or anything like that, right? And as far as my work is concerned, I mean, my goodness, I had people writing in telling what great, patient service I gave them and all that. So, I don't know. My grandmother always said cream will always rise to the top, and I've always been cream, okay, no matter what. And so sometimes when people see that, they want to strike that down. So I feel that he just felt like he saw the cream rising to the top, and he wanted to put that thing to a halt and put me in my place by telling me this. But it actually did the opposite. It actually did the opposite because thank God I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of.
So when he said that to you, you guys are in a conversation. It was probably like a seemingly friendly interaction, What was your response in that moment?
Was like I was kind of put back,
Yeah.
and I was kind of in shock that he's actually. I said, did you just say that I will never be above you? That I will never. I mean, are you talking about my intellect? What are you talking about, right? I just wanted to make sure I understood what he said. I mean, and really, what I was doing is I was writing my report out. I put my report in, and nothing ever happened. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
so nothing ever happened. That was really ultimately why I ended up leaving. I did because I saw it over and over again. I saw it in the firemen that worked. We worked with a lot of firemen. I saw it in the police force. Like I saw it, and I was like, these people are so like why are they so anti-black people? Like why? Like we haven't done
Right.
anything to them. Why? Why
Yeah.
are y'all like this?
So how
I've not even done anything to you guys.
how
So
long did it take you to leave though after that happened? Like did how long were you there?
I'm gonna say probably within that year, I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
see what's going on. I can't change it. I can't change it because this stuff is too deep.
Yeah.
Like this
Yeah.
this kind of stuff has been going on for so many years, right?
Yeah.
It's too deep. And again, I ask myself, do I want to be subjugated to this? And
I,
can I really grow in this environment? And if I can't grow in the environment, why am I going to be subjugated to it for a paycheck? I said, well, if I stay here, what's it going to be like for me 5 years from now, 10
Yeah.
years from now? And is this what I want? Is this how I want to live my life? Nah, let me do something else. So
Yeah, like what was it like working with this person going forward? Like how did you
I
just
put them in my mind, I put people in categories. Okay. So I put him in that category of this dude is crazy. He don't like black people. It's his problem. It ain't
right.
mine.
Right.
Okay. And right now, you gonna just work with him, but you ain't gotta be friends with him. You're not gonna be telling them your deep, dark secrets. Okay. I don't even have to have too much conversation with him.
I want to be able to give Black women some tools that they can use so they can find their best selves, their best life when they are in a situation that seems just really toxic and unpleasant, and they have to deal with that until they can get themselves out of it and on to the next thing. What are some tools that you can give us? Because you obviously were sitting up in that truck with that paramedic who
Mhm.
was clearly had a problem.
Clearly. Well, my first rule is, there used to be a commercial, never let them see you sweat, right?
Yeah.
So do not give them the satisfaction of, see, a lot of them, they come at you because they want to see the show. They want to see you go off, right? Lose your cool, curse, even fight. That's what they really want.
Oh
So,
yeah.
so never let them see you sweat. You got to just let it roll off your back like water on a duck's back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like always keep your head up and know who you are. Okay?
Yep.
You can always go in the bathroom and let loose, okay? But don't let them see you sweat. Always be calm, composed, graceful, have your head up, okay? And that's even if you don't even know what your next move is going to be. But that needs to be something that becomes automatic to you. Because some of us we can go off at the drop of a hat. We can just
So
and
how do you make it an automatic? Because you like you said, some of us we just go off. Like I was not good at this game when I was working for people. I wasn't good at this game. Like I
mhm.
recognize that. How do you because you just might be like that. Like you said, I'm a non-confrontational person. I don't like to get involved. Let your homegirl do it. It's not going to be me, right? So
Right.
how do you have any recommendations on how to work on this? Because when you're triggered, sometimes you just like
Well, when you're in a work environment, I mean, the types of people you're working with, right? I mean, they give you
mm-hmm,
signs and things like that. Listen to the signs, right? Don't think, oh, it's just me, or no, listen to the signs, internalize those, right? Because you're going to compartmentalize where you're going to put them, okay? So
mm,
if Joe always has a problem, okay, he got a problem with black people. He don't like black people. Just not put him in that compartment. Whether it's substantiated or not, it may just be a feeling that you have. We have to understand that we, especially as women, we can feel each other's energy. Like that's a
right.
real thing. It's just not
Yeah.
something that's taught to us in school. Okay. So you may just have a funny feeling about this person. It's okay. Go ahead and use that. This is part of, the gifts that we have that are real. And I'm talking more quantum physics now. Quantum physics is a real science. We can read each other's energy because everything is energy. So know who you're dealing with. Put them in that category, if you will, in your mind. And I used to have to recite in my head or visualize in my head. I know I'm going to see Joe today. I know he's going to do something that gets on my nerves. He's going to try his best to get on my nerves. But I'm visualizing how I'm going to respond to him or if I'm going to respond at all
Mm-hmm.
because he may hate when I ignore him, but I have every right to do so, right? Because why? You got to protect your peace at all
Yep.
costs. Protect your peace. So if that means ignoring him, ignore him. He's going to get the message. She's ignoring me. Okay? But that is how you can take some of your power back as well. So visualizing, go through this, visualize in your head how you're going to be when this person is around you, how you're going to respond to them. This is you getting your power, harnessing your power. Okay. It's very, very, very important that you do that so that you're not going to be triggered. Understand they have a power that can trigger you. But if you're prepared, if you go into the game prepared and you know how they are, you prepare yourself. And so
I love it.
that's one key that definitely I have had to do for myself.
That's some good stuff right there. See?
Thank you.
That's some good stuff. Okay. What else you got?
So I have a acronym that I always use. It's called Fly High. Okay. And the first thing
Okay.
is you gotta know what it is that you really, really want. Okay. And you gotta focus in on that. That's the F. Focus.
Okay.
So you gotta focus. So you gotta know what you want, what you really want inside, and then focus on that. Okay. That's when you can use these tools about visualizing and all that kind of thing. So just to know that you got to get through your day, right? But
Okay.
you're going to focus. Next is lift. So when you're focusing and you're going towards the thing that it is that you really want, you're lifting your eyes to that because you're focused in on it. And then you're going to yield. That's the why. You're going to yield a better life just because you're focusing on what it is you want. You've lifted your eyes towards it. You're going towards it. You're going to yield a better life, period, because you're going for what you want. You're going to be able to cast out all that noise. It's all it is, that coworker and all that stuff. All that stuff is noise. My coworker, that was just noise, okay? Trying to get me off my game, right? But I'm focused on what it is that I want. All right. H, halt. There's something you're going to have to do to change. Halt. That means you're going to have to interrupt that pattern. Do something different. Maybe doing these exercises that I gave you, just two, that's going to be a way for you to interrupt the pattern because it cannot be the same. Maybe you're saying, you know what, I'm going to pick a time to do those two exercises once a day and put it on your calendar, okay? You got to interrupt the pattern if you want something different. Now, ignite. Ignite is like with movement, okay? Like start moving your body. I don't care if it's taking time, going outside, walking, some type of something. You're going to have to ignite. You're going to have to move your body. It may be, hey, I know I want to go back to school, all right? Okay, instead of just talking about it or thinking about it, take those steps to do those things. Ignite, move, all right? And then my favorite, which is the thing that saved my life years ago, is gratitude. That's the G. Gratitude. That means in every situation, I don't care what is going on, even your lousy coworker that gets on your nerves, that tries to, he's racist, okay? There is a seed of greatness in that, something to be grateful for. Maybe that's the thing that you needed. And maybe that's the thing that I needed to say, you know what? My life does not end here as an EMT. Let me go and do what I know I really was meant to do. Let me start working on that. You have to find the gratitude in it. And I like to write down my gratitude, okay? And then the last thing of the H in high is harness. Harness. Like all that stuff that I told y'all, just grab hold of it and let it empower you. Okay? Harness it, grab hold of it, and let that thing work. And so that's my fly high method.
Love it.